in my interactions with local district's attorneys, with FBI agents, with local law enforcement, and with those in North Carolina, where my mother received a personally delivered death threat, is that when they see these types of things, if there's even a remote amount of plausible deniability, as you just explained, that a jury wouldn't convict. After my mother was threatened by a neo-Nazi in North Carolina who hand-delivered a book called The White Dolphin. It's a youth novel about a mother who's murdered over her political activism. And the local law enforcement, when they first received that, they interpreted it as a prank. I had to fly down to North Carolina to speak with a magistrate and have lawyers. Thankfully, I had lawyers who were handling this case pro bono, but lawyers had to fly from Chicago to help prosecute this case because the local district attorney, the local magistrate, the local law enforcement didn't understand the severity of what just happened. In fact, the sheriff's deputies who showed up at my mother's house and received this evidence of a death threat offered to throw it out on their way back to the office, on the way back to the station, because they didn't recognize that a crime had occurred at all.
Throw out evidence.
They offered to throw it in a dumpster. They said, there's a dumpster that I can throw this in on the way back to the station. Do you want me to do that? And thankfully, my mother had the presence of mind, as distressed as she was, that she called me in that moment and asked me what to do. And I made sure that everything was preserved. And eventually the FBI came and picked it up. But it took me a year and a half to see that case prosecuted. And I'm a professional researcher, and I had the benefit of this guy bragging about what he had done online. So I had an open admission. The intent was clearly stated, and it still took a hell of a lot of convincing to get the local prosecutor to move forward. And eventually he was convicted by of a hate crime. It was the first time, I believe, that specific statute had actually been charged and prosecuted and resulted in a guilty verdict. And it passed during the Civil Rights era. It was just sitting there on the books, and no one in North Carolina was using it.